Today, we're going to be ranking every free-to-play character in the game. In last place, we have the Destruction Trailblazer. Their one shining point is that they're an acceptable DPS early in the game, but are outperformed by any other DPS as you progress. Their low damage multipliers gut any potential they would have and are objectively worse than their other paths. All of this puts them at the bottom of our list. In 14th place, we have Preservation March 7th. Her strongest point is her ultimate, which can freeze enemies to help with her job as a sustain character. The problem that she has is her shield is single target, and in order to keep your team healthy, you need to be using a ton of skill points that would be way better used elsewhere. Overall, she's not able to sustain her team in any of the harder content, and that puts her in 14th place. In 13th place, we have the Preservation Trailblazer. The Preservation Trailblazer is in a weird spot as a hybrid DPS and shielder who succeeds at neither. They run into the same problem Destruction Trailblazer runs into, as the other paths are far more useful to have on your team. Overall, Preservation Trailblazer lacks large enough shields for hard content, and their damage does not make up for this drawback, placing them in 13th place. In 12th place, we have Natasha. There's not too much to say about her. She does the most basic job at healing, however, her heals lag behind most hard content damage, and she uses too many skill points to keep your team alive. All of this together puts her in 12th place. In 11th place, we have Yukong. Her supportive stats on paper look promising, with her skill and ultimate combo giving crit rate, crit damage, and attack. The problem that holds her back is the way her skill works means her buffs last an extremely short amount of time. This makes her need to build perfectly and not be affected by any slows to give her team support. If you are able to build a team around her strange support abilities, she can be a great support, but due to how restrictive her kit is, we are putting her at 11th place. In 10th place, we have Lynx. Overall, she's a direct upgrade from Natasha. She functions pretty similarly with generally higher healing ratios, and she can slightly increase characters' max HP with her heals. She can still function well in most content and will keep your team healthy enough while clearing out debuffs with her ultimate. If you have no access to premium sustains, she will work. Overall, her kit still requires a large use of skill points and harder content to keep your team alive, and because of this, she's in 10th place. In 9th place, we have Dan Heng. Dan Heng has a unique kit that is often undervalued. His damage multiplier on his ultimate is not too bad, especially when the enemy is slowed, and his passive is giving him wind penetration, which scales extremely well with other buffs. Due to all of this, a well-built Dan Heng can dish out some serious damage. However, without proper supports and an optimized build, his damage will feel lackluster. Due to requiring a full premium support team to truly shine, he is placed in 9th place. In 8th place, we have Asta. As a support that provides a decent speed and attack buff to her allies, she can always find value on a team. Since her support abilities don't scale off her stats, she's an extremely easy to build support, and overall she does her job as a movement speed steroid, which places her right into 8th place. In 7th place, we have Shui Yi. As one of the first break damage dealers in the game, her kit wasn't designed with super break in mind, which holds her back slightly. She can still function on super break teams and is able to clear some of the hardest content as a DPS. With characters like Fugui and Ron Mei, she can destroy most enemies with ease. Although since she requires lots of premium investment to dish out this massive damage, I am placing her in 7th place. In 6th place, we have Qingcha. With proper investment and skill point management, she can dish out some extremely high damage. Her biggest drawback is that her skill has the chance to drain a large number of skill points. This limits her team's options to be characters who are very skill point friendly. If you can build a team around her, she can clear the hardest content in the game, and all of this considered puts her in 6th place. In 5th place, we have Serval. Serval has generally high damage ratios with her shock and ultimate damage. She can be used as a DPS herself or on a DOT team with Kafka. Because her damage works well in all types of difficult content, she's a super useful character to have built up for different battles. Overall, she functions better than some premium DPS characters, and this places her comfortably in 5th place. In 4th place, we have our first OP character, which is the Harmony Trailblazer. The Harmony Trailblazer is considered best in slot for many break DPS characters such as Rappa and Firefly. They also function extremely well with units like Boothail and Himiko. Their Super Break buff gives Break DPS characters a massive boost in their damage, and was necessary for most Break teams to function before the release of Fugway. Their amazing support abilities don't end there though, as they are also able to greatly damage imaginary toughness bars, and provide the entire team with a sizable Break Effect buff. If you plan to ever use a Break Effect team, you'll want the Harmony Trailblazer on your team, which sets him into 4th place. In 3rd place, we have the Hunt March 7th. March 7th is an amazing support for multiple teams, all while also dishing out some massive damage herself. She provides a large speed multiplier to her Shifu and also has a long uptime on giving them break effect and crit damage. She functions extremely well on follow-up attack teams and finds herself in many meta teams. Overall, her versatility and damage make her an extremely useful character to have built and can almost always be valuable on a team. All of this together places her in 3rd place. In 2nd place, we have Herda. Herda has become a staple of pure fiction and can completely demolish the mode. When faced against 5 opponents, she becomes an absolute monster and can dish out some incredible damage with her follow-up attack. On her own, she's an incredible unit, and when paired with strong supports or another strong erudition character, she can easily clear the hardest pure fiction stages. As a 4-star free-to-play unit, she clears so many premium 5-star erudition characters for pure fiction, and when you consider all of this, it puts her very comfortably in 2nd place. In 1st place, we have the Remembrance Trailblazer. The Remembrance Trailblazer has so much going on for them that it feels illegal. They're not heavily skill point reliant, they give the entire team scaling crit damage, they give a DPS the new true damage buff, they have an action advance that gives 10% crit rate, and finally they can do massive damage with their guaranteed critical ultimate. The Remembrance Trailblazer can find themselves useful on basically every team possible. The true damage buff being a percentage of damage dealt by a character becomes one of the greatest buffs in the game for characters that already have bloated stats, as this applies after all buffs. Overall, the Remembrance Trailblazer is one of the most versatile and severely overpowered characters in the game. I would recommend building them as soon as possible, focusing on giving them lots of speed and crit damage due to how overloaded their kit truly is. I comfortably put them in 1st place for the best free-to-play unit in the game. Okay, so that was how I ranked the top free-to-play units in Honkai Star Rail. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment any questions down below and have a wonderful day.